So, if you think tools like ChatGPT are the end of the line for AI, you might want to buckle up. We are about to see the next huge leap forward. We're moving beyond just simple chat and into a world of pure action, where AI doesn't just answer your questions, it actually gets things done for you. Today, we're digging into AI agents.
All right, let's just jump right in because this slide shows you the fundamental difference perfectly. On the left, you've got a classic task for a large language model, an LLM. It's just an information request, right? It finds a fact and it tells you. But on the right, that's an agent task. It's a command. It needs to do a bunch of different things. Access your emails, somehow understand what you consider important, sort everything, filter it, and then, actually take an action by notifying you. We're talking about a massive shift from asking AI to know something to telling it to do something.
So, what even is an AI agent when you get right down to it? Well, probably the best way to think about it is this. A large language model like GPT-4 is kind of like a brilliant brain, just sitting in a jar. It has all this incredible knowledge and reasoning power, but it can't actually interact with the world. An AI agent gives that brain a body. It gives it hands and feet to go out and operate in the digital world on your behalf. And hey, this isn't some newfangled tech definition we just made up. This comes straight from the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Just look at the key verbs here: acts, exerts power, produces an effect. And that third definition? Wow, it is just perfect for what we're talking about. A means or instrument by which a guiding intelligence achieves a result. See? The LLM is the guiding intelligence, and the agent is the instrument that actually gets the result. Now, what's really fascinating here is how an agent actually works. It's not a one and done kind of thing. It actually operates in a loop. So first, you, the user, you set a high-level goal. The agent then takes that goal and breaks it down into a sequence of smaller, bite-sized tasks. It executes one of those tasks, and then, and this is the crucial part, it stops and evaluates. It asks itself, am I closer to the goal? Is the job done? If not, it defines the very next task and just repeats that loop over and over until the objective is totally met. Okay, so to perform all these actions, an agent obviously needs the right set of tools. I mean, it's not just about having a brain, it's about what that brain can connect to and control. So let's take a look inside the agent's toolkit. Basically, the toolkit has three core pieces. First up, you've got the LLM brain, right? That's the powerful model like GPT-4 that gives it all its reasoning and planning skills. Second, it needs access to knowledge. This is how an agent can look up external, private, or even real-time data, so it's not just stuck with what it was trained on. And third, and maybe most importantly, is the ability to use tools. This is its connection to the outside world, letting it do things like browse websites, use different applications APIs, or even run code to get a job done. So let's double-click on that access to knowledge piece for a second. It's powered by this process called retrieval augmented generation, or what pretty much everyone just calls RAG. Think of RAG as the process for giving an agent its own personal, specialized library. It works in 4 steps, as you can see here. First, you load in all the documents. Then you transform them by breaking them into smaller, more manageable chunks. Next, you embed them, which is a fancy way of saying you turn those text chunks into numerical representations called vectors. And finally, you store all those vectors in a special database, which makes them super fast to search through later. And this right here, this visual just brilliantly illustrates that whole data pipeline. You can see all this data coming in from different sources on the left, getting ingested, and then processed through those exact steps we just talked about, and then stored. So now, whenever the agent needs to know something really specific from that data to finish its task, it can instantly retrieve the exact right piece of information it needs. Okay, so a single, well-equipped agent is really powerful. But what happens when you create a whole team of agents? Now, this is where things get really advanced and honestly, just plain fascinating. We're talking about multi-agent systems. The core idea here is actually pretty simple. A team of specialists is almost always more effective than one person trying to do everything. So instead of having one AI agent try to be a researcher and a writer and a code reviewer all at once, you can create 3 totally separate agents, each one an expert in its own little area, and then have them all work together. Here is a really fun example from a framework called Crew AI. They set up a 2-agent team whose only job was to create a joke. So look at this table. Agent 1 is the joke crafter. Its only goal is to come up with a topic for a joke. It even has a little backstory to help it stay in character. Then it passes that topic over to Agent 2, the joke writer, who specializes in actually crafting the punchline. So the key takeaway is, by breaking down a creative process like this, you actually get a much better, more focused result.
So let's see how all this stuff builds into something way bigger than just a cool new feature. Agents, they're not just an upgrade. They represent a fundamental shift in how we're all going to interact with technology. We're really talking about a whole new software paradigm. This diagram, this is the key to understanding that new paradigm. You know, in the past, if you wanted a sales report, you'd have to open an application, click through a bunch of menus, select your date ranges, export the file. You know the drill. Now, look at this. The user just states their goal in plain English. Please create a report of last year's sales. The agent acts as this new intelligent interface layer, figuring out what you mean, creating a multi-step plan, and then just executing it. We're moving from being the operator of the machine to being the director of the outcome. And this feeling, this sense of a massive shift, is just captured perfectly in this quote from Mikhail Nanim, who wrote the book AI Agents in Action. For decades, this whole idea was basically science fiction. But like he says, the ability to simply describe what you want and have an AI make it happen, that's now a tangible reality. So that brings us to the final and, maybe the most important question, the one that I'm going to leave with you. If you had an autonomous AI agent ready to go, ready to act on your behalf, what would be your very first command? Would you have it finally organize your chaotic inbox, plan your next vacation from start to finish, or maybe just research a topic you've always been curious about? The potential here is absolutely enormous, and we are just getting started.